This basement was built by a novice DIYer, and each week he'll give you tips to help you build one too.
Hey there, I'm back. Gonna keep doing this.
As you can see, the crappy camera is also back. Still working on that part. I learned a lot during the installation of my subfloor, so I packed 19 of the things I learned into the next 9 minutes of video. Some are quick little tips, so keep an eye out for the tip counter. Bigger ones that you definitely don't want to forget will be in a special call out. If you're curious about the green foam insulation that I'm laying on and want to learn more, I suggest hitting pause and spending a few minutes watching my episode 2 on critical subfloor decisions.
So we can see if I can cut this and trim it down. So I'm staying on it to keep it in place.
One point that you'll hear over and over again is that nothing is truly square, and that goes for your foundation walls too. My walls are so crooked, to be able to square up my boards, I have to trim these at an angle so that the boards fit together snugly. I'm sure you'll have to do it too. Just be sure you have a new blade in your box cutter.
Okay, definitely new blade. Okay, little gap here. That's too low. And that's why you need a ruler. I'm gonna use that, so use a ruler. See how thick that is? That's pretty massive. I was thinking about what to do about this. I could just kind of wing it, but I got this gizmo that supposedly kind of does curves. Push everything against it, and you lock it. Then you take this. I'm kind of winging this now. Okay, this could be wrong. How deep do I need to be? I'm probably missing a step in here, but theoretically, this could be helpful.
Of course I was missing a step. That's kind of my biggest problem. When something looks like it's going to be easy, I hop into it without researching it. This is one of those cases. What I'm using is called a contour gauge tool. Here's a link to a video that shows its basic use. But my case is a little different, so it needs some extra steps. In addition to needing to know how far away the hole needs to be from the edge, and of course actually measuring the size of the hole and tracing along the edge of the gauge tool, you then need to draw another line that's a ½ inch wider than the line you just drew. That little gap will make installation a lot easier, and as long as it's not your finished surface, it's no big deal.
Okay, popped out. Is it enough? Probably not, so let's find out. Looks like it's actually off center. Did I not do it in the right spot?
I know you all know this, but it's worth mentioning. You gotta double check your measurements, otherwise you're gonna do the task twice.
So, I may have gotten lucky. I'm off by a whole fucking ½ inch here. Story of my life. Oh, damn, man. Okay. Pull that out. Flip this over.
And just to show you that I'm not a complete idiot, I did follow all the steps eventually. Here's an example.
Okay. Marked. Now, a light cut. Not too bad. Spacer fill. Not too bad. So I'm going to start putting down some OSB. So this is 3/4 inch OSB. It is tongue and groove though. I will be pounding it in and then it gets screwed down. Now remember, I'm not going up against the wall, so 1 inch in to be combined with that more or less. So we're talking 10 inches.
Looks like I finally got down this measuring first concept. Unfortunately, my lack of skill is going to show up in other ways, namely shitty camera framing.
Now, this may end up staggering these joints because the subfloor, the actual floor, is basically going on this. So probably should stagger this. Use these to stagger the joints on this. I'm sure the videos I've watched have told me to do that.
Actually, I just did a quick check of all 3 videos and I couldn't find any mention of it. Maybe they just assumed we'd know.
So I got this when I do the floor. Because pretty sure we're going to do a laminate. This kind of taps it all in. Wow, this is smaller than I thought. Might not be powerful enough. I wonder if I should have done this backwards and had the groove, had the tongue on the other side so that I'm not hitting this. The part that looks like this is the part that you're going to be banging so that you don't damage this. I know I heard it, so if not in the video that I linked, one of the other ones, probably the home renovation. That's generally a good one, although I didn't follow that much of exactly what he's doing. Has some good tips. So don't do this.
I'm just going to share a few links I discussed in my critical subfloor decisions episode. There are 3 videos that I primarily use to help inform the installation of this subfloor. I didn't follow any of them exactly, but rather pulled the best ideas from each of them.
I'm going to see if I can get it to work without damaging it. So I'm going to go above it. And it hasn't moved at all. So now I'm going to really whack it. And that made a difference. So this, not that. This, not that. And preferably flipped around. So the problem with the foam spacers now, it provides space, but it doesn't really provide any backing when I'm banging things together. So that kind of sucks. What I might do is screw these 3 in, but then when I bang against it, at least they're in place. So we'll see how that works. So the steps are drill the hole, vacuum out the hole. But another video for home renovation mentioned that if you don't get good traction on the screw because the concrete isn't great quality or whatever, that you actually leave some of the dirt in there. I'm going to vacuum and see how that goes. And again, if the screwing doesn't go very well, then we'll go the other way. So what I did is I tested it out on the 3 that we had, and I am using the right drill bit with a 1/4 inch. Use a 3/16 bit. Got that. 2 of them got flush. The other one's still a little high, but countersinking, clearing out the hole and countersinking solved my problems. Basically, I don't have quite as much flexibility and depth as I want, but it seems to be working. So I'm definitely going to. The holes aren't deep enough as well. So I'm going to redo, or at least go deeper on the impact drill, but I'm definitely going to rent the SDS. It's worth the investment. That's all. Okay. That's it. I'm done. I'm not going to work it. What a pain in the ass. What a bummer. Rent the SDS. I'm going to go now, see if I can reserve it. Maybe and pick it up today, because I'm definitely keeping it for a week. The impact drill, it's too much work. You know, I'm either going to break the bit or break the drill. So I went to Home Depot to rent a SDS drill. They do have them for rent. So it turns out they're like $50 a day, and I'm not done in a day. So I'm like, okay, well, how much for a week? So it's about $250. So, they give you a discount. But I'm like, $250 seems like a lot. So then I go into Home Depot, the main area, and look at them, and they run about $200 for a brand new one. The exact same one they rent out, I could buy for $200. And there's another model that's even cheaper. I even checked Harbor Freight. They got them for like $80, but they don't have any in stock, and I kind of need it. So I'm now the owner of an SDS. Now, what I realized is I am now here, and there's this blinking thing that says alarm secured. I have a very strange feeling that I'm about to set off an alarm when I open this.
I seriously considered trying to cut the wires. I ended up going back to Home Depot to have it removed. And on that note, it's time for another episode.